What's up, guys? How are you? How's everything? It's me, Hebot, your action figure enthusiast and video game aficionado. And as you can see here, this is a few pickups that I've had within the whole month or so, maybe 2 months. And on top of what I've reviewed on my channel so far, that I really don't feel the need of reviewing. And not because they're not worthy of reviewing, obviously, because there's a lot of good quality stuff here, but because a lot of it is either been oversaturated in the YouTube market as far as how many reviewers have reviewed them, because they're popular to the point where everybody wants to do it. And I've always been the type of mindset that I don't really like to do a lot of what everybody else likes to do, even though I'm doing something that a lot of people are doing, which is kind of contradictory to what I'm saying right now. But I think it's because it's a platform where I can express what I love and what I like to do as far as video games and action figures. So it's not like I have a lot of other options, because there's not a lot of other venues where you can do this and explore what you like and share it with other people that share the same passion and love for this type of stuff, with pop culture, action figure collecting, adult collecting, and also video games. So this is one of my hauls from the last month or so, including some of the stuff or other stuff you see me record on my channel, like I said before or earlier. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight them one by one or in groups, to show you guys kind of what they look like and what are my thoughts on them real quick, like a brief rundown, and then so you guys can see what they look like out of box, and give you a quick synopsis thought of what I think of them. So stay tuned, sit down, have a good time, have a digital drink, or go get a beer in real life, it doesn't matter. And I hope you stay watching and enjoy it. My unboxing review over kind of I would call it, and I hope you have a good time. So stay tuned and stay right there, don't move. So here we go. I first want to start with the brand new Transformers Earthrise figures that I picked up as of recent. And yes, there is a Siege there, one in between. I know. But I had to pick him up, so he's still new, and he's still in the style of the actual G1. So, which would be Earthrise, which is what it's inspired by. We have Grapple. I picked up Red Alert. I think he was a Walgreens exclusive too. Hound and Cliffjumper. And the reason why I'm showcasing the side of the box is because this artwork is absolute masterpiece work, if you ask me. If they ever made a Transformers cartoon with the highest quality, highest budget ever, this is what the cartoon interpretation and artwork should look like on screen. I think it would be a masterpiece, okay? I love this artwork. It's absolutely stunning, and it's very nice because we don't get a lot of toys anymore like we used to back in the 80s and maybe early 90s, where the toys box art brought all this artwork that was just stunning, and it was just beautiful to look at, and just showed the nice amount of detail of love and care that they were putting into it, which I feel Hasbro is absolutely intending to do to every one of the properties that they have in their hands right now, all the way from Transformers, obviously, that's what we have here, to Power Rangers, Overwatch, the brand newly announced, G.I. Joe, not Fortnite, but, Star Wars, obviously, and Marvel Legends. They're just simply hitting on all cylinders, not only with the figures, in my opinion, but also with the packaging and the love and care that's going into it. So now let's check out the figures out of packaging. And here we go. We have Hoist, Cliffjumper, Grapple, and Red Alert. And man, I gotta tell you, it is getting really, really hard to, keep sanity in the video, well, not video, but in the action figure world. there is just simply too much product of quality and of old school property nostalgia, I guess you can say as well, especially for someone of my generation, that is just out in the market right now. And it's just getting bigger and bigger all at once. So it's very hard to keep up with your wallet, obviously, and with the pace in which all these properties and figures are coming out. But the stuff that's coming out, I am personally going to say this one more time, and I've been collecting figures basically all my life, okay? This has got to be the golden age of action figures ever since the 80s. I really mean that. And I mean that with all the respect possible to, obviously, my era in the 80s. Because, you got to give credit where credit is due. These figures that they're doing right now, based on the properties that we grew up with, figures that we grew up with, they're just killing it. Especially with the amount of detail, paint application, the amount of quality in the actual plastic itself, whatever they come with as far as accessories, the price point, and I'm not saying everything, but in 90% of the things are just, you can't beat it. It's just unbelievable the amount of quality that we're getting out for a reasonable price point, where it's affordable, where it's not being biased to any demographic economically, where anybody can jump in, dive in something that they like, or if not all, and just get it little by little as they go along, as they come out. And the quality and the accessibility of how to get them, to be quite honest, is also pretty broad in the spectrum of being able to get your hands on them. You got places like Amazon, Walmart online, Target online, so many, Big Bad Toy Store, so many different areas where you can find them, and most of them, for the most part, are reasonably priced, right? You might have to pay a little more here and there to cover shipping costs, and so that they can make some money out of it, obviously, because they're selling it to you, but at your convenience, where you just point, click, and buy the product. But nothing not too unreasonable, right? So you guys know what I'm talking about, especially you action figure collectors and enthusiasts. And it's just, we're so lucky. I feel blessed to be able to be part of this era. And I know a lot of people find it weird because I'm a 45-year-old man, or going to be soon to be 45 this year. But your kid, you being a kid never grows out of you. You never have to grow out of being a child in how you feel, or having a nice time and enjoying things like this that you love and make you feel happy, that keep your memories from when you were a child always at bay, and let you remember the good times, and kind of always bring that happiness and smile to you in your face and in your heart. So we'll take a quick look first here at Hoist. And Hoist is absolutely stunning. He is the best Hoist figure we've ever had in plastic form, in an affordable line, and as far as a correct representation of him from G1 in all these years. Just everything about him, the color scheme, the execution, what he turns into, which is a pickup truck with it almost looks like a tow truck with a grapple thing in the back. Hoist looks incredible. His face looks fantastic with the silvers and the blues. It looks like Hoist. Everything about him. This Hoist is just phenomenal. Hoist looks incredible. Then obviously, we have to understand. Well, one more thing. They also come with really nice instructions as well. As you can see there, they're pretty nicely printed, and you can read them really well, and pretty nice and detailed. So they're not confusing like a lot of the older ones were for a lot of older Transformer lines through the years since the 80s. Next we have here is Cliff Jumper, and this is probably the nicest mold for Cliff Jumper that we've ever had. And I say that with the best honesty as possible. I know that people are always griping about stuff. They always find something to complain about. But for the price you're paying, this is definitely a nice. It's nice because usually they use remolds and keep using them over and over for a lot of characters to save cost and money. But with characters like this, when you see they introduce new molds and try new executions and new ways of bringing it to the table with the same representation of what the character originally supposed to look like, it's nice to see that, because you know you're not getting cheaped out. You know that they put the effort and they built something brand new from scratch to give you something familiar and yet modern and new, to make it feel like when you buy it, even though you may have, let's say, other Cliff Jumper figures, you don't feel like you're just wasting your money. You know, this Cliff Jumper is stunning. Then we have the big boy, which is Grapple, and he looks incredible as well. As you can see his face. And I'm the one that just has it like that. I keep bumping the camera because it has a stupid thing that hangs from the side of it. Sorry. You can see, looks like Grapple, and I have the Grapple from Generations, I think it was. But this one looks stunning. Really, really nice. Really nice paint job. The way that it looks, that it looks pretty clean as far as flush. You know, it's not looking too, what you would call it, cumbersome. This is the Grapple that goes in the back, and but this is something you can't really avoid, but it still looks pretty compact and pretty nice and neat. And the posability, as you can see, I have them in somewhat of dynamic poses, and they look really nice. And then last but not least, of course, we have Red Alert, and Red Alert is a very nice new mold. Look at the face sculpt, the front of it. He looks like a futuristic Lamborghini, what he was supposed to. You know, it's nice and flush. It might look a little off because it's a little bit wide, but still, I think it's not that bad. His lights turn into a weapon, which is an axe, as you see here, which is fitting because he's supposed to be a firefighter. He has the swivel in the legs. Like I said, the range of articulation on these are really nicely done. The joints are nice, not too tight, not too loose. They're just right, and he's a representation of Red Alert. Like you see him, you look at the G1, and he's 10 times better than what the G1 toy was when we were growing up. Whether people like to hear that or not, I'm sorry. I'm just keeping it real. What we had for the time we have it was beautiful, but this day and age and the modernization of toy making and the updates that we're getting, they're just second to none. These gives the toys we grew up with 50 times a kick in the butt than what we had. These are just absolutely beautiful. There's no comparison. I'm sorry. You may agree with me or not, but it just isn't. So let's move on to my next set of figures. And next here we have the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch gaming grade series, and this is basically exclusive figures to dedicated outlets like GameStop in this case. That's why you see that they're not numbered. But these cases are really nice because they come in really nice colors and art deco. As we look here in the back, you can see that they have really nice artwork of the characters that they're housing in the packaging. And in this case, the heavy battle droid, and obviously the good guy version of Darth Revan, which is the Jedi Knight Revan from the video game Galaxies of Heroes. That's where the skin of him is, but his original skin came from Knights of the Old Republic. He's a Sith Lord, and it's cool that they made a good version of him, kind of like Anakin when he was a good guy and then turning to Darth Vader being a bad guy. The only difference is he looks drastically different being Anakin to Darth Vader. And then this is the front of the packaging. Yes, I have a lot of packaging, but it's so nice, the packaging, the color, with the bronze copper, and then the obviously nice neon kind of light purple that you have here with Darth Revan. So now what we'll do is we'll take a quick look again at the figures out of packaging. Now here we have them out of packaging, and like I said earlier, one of the reasons why I really do not like doing reviews for Star Wars Black Series is not because I don't like Star Wars. Star Wars is one of my favorite collections and toy lines that I collect right now as of present in this moment. Even though I pretty much enjoy all the lines that I do collect, if not I wouldn't buy the figs. But it's very nice and special to me because when I was little, I never was able to collect Star Wars because there was so much things that my parents just refused to get it for me because it was just too many things to keep buying. He-Man was kind of the middle ground where it had a lot, but it came to an end, and I was able to obtain everything with the exception of some figures here and there that didn't come out only in the European market or even Mexico or Japan. But anyway, so here is the Battle Heavy Android, right? That's what it's called. The Heavy Battle Droid, and he's from Battlefront 2, the game. And as you can see, he's in a nice deco. I have him here in the stand because these weapons are very heavy, and because they're very heavy, he can't stand on his own, or it's very hard to get him to stand, and he keeps falling down. As you can see, there's a really nice bronze and brown copper deco with little silvers all over the place here and there to kind of give you the illusion that it's the battle scars and battle dents because they are metal at the end of the day. Here's this heavy infantry weapon. Here's a battle rifle on this side. As you can see, he has a light blaster that you can house in the side in the backpack. And he's really cool. Look, he has this nice amount of articulation, decent enough. I just never understood why they never put the ability of like making a swivel like in the area here. Just because they look like androids and they are droids doesn't mean that you couldn't just turn it and swivel it to give it that illusion and give you the ability of basically posing them better. So that I don't like. Good thing comes with pegs. Then accessory wise, he brought this extra antenna where you have to take off this backpack and then you just put the antenna there to make it look so you can army build to make it look like a different type of of droid all together with a different backpack, obviously. So there's the battle droid, and he's really nice, really cool. And then we'll take a closer look at Darth Revan, and I'm pretty sure you guys seen reviews to death for both of these guys. So I'm just kind of going through a crash course of what they offer. Really nice copper and metallic looking copper paint with weathering in brown, and also with touches of weathering in gray and black. Kind of make it look like age plated armor. Oh geez, like you see there on his this is in his forearm, and then on the plate on the top part of his glove he has on his hands, and he has these little rings that go around kind of so you can hang probably his weapons from there. He has a nice sash that's basically in a knot tied through this big loop here. It comes down the front and goes around to the back with the illusion of it being an extra piece, which it looks really good and it's well done. With the sculpting of the arms, which makes it look like a robe, which is kind of looks weird in a way because this part here should be also cloth goods so that this can move better and this can all be one piece, and only this would be the hard piece that looks almost like a what you call it, a garment, what they call those, a garter that women used to wear to tuck in their belly, but this is a chest garter, so it could look like this is on top of the actual suit, because down here it's all cloth goods, as you can see, and it looks really good, but it's all cloth goods. And if you lift it up, you see that he has also another suit Underneath, he has another suit, or part of his suit that looks like, pants, which it is pants, and then his shin guards, knee guards, and then his boots with the guard, the plates in the bottom to protect his feet. So he looks really nice. He is really different. It's like a beige color, like a beige brown and copper, as opposed to the original evil version of him with the blacks and the navy, like the champagne. It's almost like a burgundy kind of look. So he looks really different, and it's a nice representation of him, obviously with his purple lightsaber, which looks quite different also as far as the hilt. If you look at the hilt on it, it looks quite different. Just let me zoom it in. And design, you see the lights there, the green and the red. Very, very nice and thick on the lightsaber, which I think they started making the lightsabers thicker so that they wouldn't break easy when you take them out, because before you would pull them out, and I think people had problems with them breaking. They look really nice new additions in the Star Wars Black Series line, and I'm glad and very happy to own them, especially that they're game versions of certain characters related, because it also ties in well with my channel, because I am very game centric as well. So let's move on to the next figures. And here are the next set of pickups that I had just recently. These I pre-ordered like almost, I think it was 8 months ago, after the very release of them being, I think was San Diego Comic-Con exclusive from NECA. It was a Tortured Splinter pack, I think it was called, where Splinter came in the actual area where they had him tied up in the movie, and where they were torturing him to get answers and stuff on Shredder and his foot soldiers. And they actually released them separately, individually, in GameStop as a GameStop exclusive, just like they did the first Turtles. So essentially I got the figures with some accessories, but the only difference, as you guys know, is that it didn't come with some of the extra accessories that those 3 or 4 packs actually offered and delivered, like in the case with the Turtles, like the pizza box, the full pizza, and the different little things here and there. And in this case, I think it was the actual torture piece that had Shredder tied up to, and then it was like a rack where you could put some weapons for the foot soldiers and Shredder. And this is the artwork on the side of the figures in the promotional signs, which is also always very cool. And then, we'll turn it around and we'll see that they did keep in the tradition of the other ones, as far as the consistency with the box art, which basically looks like the poster of the movie that originally came out from New Line Cinema back in the 90s, with the Turtles and the manhole coming out, which look really cool. Basically, that for those that like mint on card collectors can keep them in packaging, and it has the consistency of the packaging. And even on the side, when you see there, that's the actual writing of the poster from the movie that you saw in the actual theaters. That's the font of the word Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles of the poster, which NECA does those little details, and just to keep homages to the original content and stuff that they get their products from. And then also, as you can see real quick, it'll also say GameStop exclusive there in the corner, so that you got the GameStop exclusive versions for people that don't get confused and want to know the difference. So we're gonna take a look real quick now at these figures up close and personal, what they come with, and see what they have to offer. Sit there and I'll be right back. And again, here are the figures out of packaging. And what can I say? We all know already by now, is without question, these are just a piece of art, mastery of their craft of their art from NECA and Randy and his crew over there at NECA. These figures are just really, really beautiful to look at. Really a labor of love. You can see how much detail and how much love they put into them. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of the style of the older Ninja Turtle movie, because for me it was just very, very cheesy. But the representation here from big cinema to figure is unquestionably, uncanny, 100% accurate, and just absolutely fantastic. So for me, a dream that would come true would to see what could NECA do as far as figures for the newer movies and the newer look of the newer movies. Because whether people think they look busy or not, for me, those Ninja Turtle styles, even the Bebop and Rocksteady, and even the Shredder from the first movie, they look badass. They look like they kick some major buttocks. Like they look really, really cool, really badass. For me, these just look too simplified and too kiddie-ish. With the exception maybe of Shredder, obviously. Splinter, they did a decent job. He looks like a rat person. And obviously the Foot Soldiers. These guys are not as bad. I'm talking about generally, even KC and things like that. But generally the Turtles themselves, they just look too, you could tell his costumes, they just look too kiddie-ish. But nonetheless, that's not the point of this video. NECA knocked it out of the park. They did a fantastic job, and we've seen these all over. So, as you can see, they come with their accessories there. So what I'll do is I'll zoom in individually. You can see that we have Shredder right there in all of his glory, looking spectacular. You see the light shining off his metallic looking cape, very beautiful. The glitter on his purple suit outfit, which looks more like a maroon, like a prune color. And those are the accessories. Comes with the staff, the extra bladed hands, the open hand, the fist. It has that little blade that I put inside the cloth, belt that he has. And then, to get a little closer, we'll look at the details of his face. You can see it shines realistically with the eyes. Then we'll move right along onto the Foot Soldiers. As you can see there, same thing. Uncanny details. You see the Arakakashi symbol, I think it is, from the bandana. The face looking like the beetles or like a bug or something, kind of, but still look kind of stylized and cool. I think it was just the gauntlet on their hands and their forearms and nunchucks, and then the weapon accessories that he came with, which is those closed hands, open hands, and extra bandana there. That's basically making it look like his head bandana is just laying flat, and this one's making it look like it's the wind is billowing it out. And you see that he comes with these tonfas. He has an extra one there, a nunchuck there. He has a real chain nunchuck here, and the wooden staff in the back. And then of course he got obviously the sensei himself, Master Splinter, which he looks really, really amazing. And the cloth of his gi is very, very stylized and dirty and tithered from being in the sewer and battle. But the weird thing about it is when you touch it, right? You touch the material, it feels the way that clothes feels when they're dirty. And it's really weird for me to explain. It's very odd. But I will say one thing. Out of all these figures, Splinter, I really like the least. Okay? And I'm going to show you why. Because he does not stand very well. Even though he has these flat feet, you see right there, right? the way it's designed, for some odd reason, I don't know why, it doesn't hold him. He doesn't have balance, right? And then his knees, even when they're straight with the actual articulation, they still have a bend look to them because it's supposed to be like a rat, the way it is with the anatomy of a rat. But then in the bottom, they have no peg holes, so you can't even use the traditional NECA stands, which I think is terrible. Plus, the only way to really hold them is by using his tail for balancing, which feels really hard, and the material they made out of, the plastic they use, feels really hard, like it could break, even though it's supposed to be bendable. And then the worst part of it is, okay, is that the hands that he brings, both of them, are open hands, right? As you can see, right? Open hands. You see all the muddying, the way that rat's hands look all kind of bony and also dirty at the same time. Very, very authentic. Even his face looks amazing, right? With the eye gloss and the eyes and everything, looks great. Another thing I don't like, that his mouth doesn't even open, right? It doesn't have like an articulation, which I thought would have been cool. Even though the rest of the figure is completely articulated. But the worst part is that he, and I see people complain about all the McFarlane toys all the time, pointing out, oh, it comes with only one fist, it comes with a ripping hand, for what reason, blah, blah, blah. But then they want to cherish these type of figures, right? But don't call out the negative, right? He has two open hands, but yeah, he brings these types of accessories, right? Right here, as you can see. A nunchuck, a pizza, and a tube of ooze. And he has no way in the world, or no way how, that he can hold them. The only thing I can do is put that pair of nunchucks right here on his belt. That's it, to make it seem like he has on the side of his belt. Other than that, there's nothing else that I can do with those accessories with him. So why does he bring them is beyond me. That's number one. I have no clue why he even brings them, to be honest. Because he really can't do anything with them. He can't hold them. He can't do nothing with them. Nothing. So I feel this figure aesthetically, the way he looks, is an absolute knockout. They knocked it out of the park. It's amazing. But as far as his usage of display and play value, right? If somebody was, playing with him, that's, of age, that knows how to handle him without breaking him with care, you can't do nothing with him because his accessories are useless. You can't use them with him. So that's my main gripe, and I wanted to point that out because I haven't seen not one review from not one person doing these so far, the ones that I've seen, pointing that out. All they do is praising how amazing NECA is, how amazing these figures are, and never point that out. But when I see those same people reviewing McFarlane stuff, you're getting way bigger bang for your buck, because these figures, mind you, are way more expensive than McFarlane toys. McFarlane toys are retail price at $20, as opposed to these that retail at $29.99 or $24.99, depending where you get it from. These figures may look aesthetically amazing, paint job and all, but the McFarlane ones do the same thing for half the price. Okay? And they just add certain things for whatever reason they want to point it out and call them garbage and hate on them. So I wanted to point that out. This Sprinter, even though it looks gorgeous aesthetically, is very disappointing. And it's the weakest out of this 4-set. Now, this Foot Soldier, as far as I can see, which is the last one, once again, is just as beautiful as the one I showed you before. Now, I don't know if he has any differences as far as the face or maybe the symbol of the bandana. I think they're 100% the same. The same, 100% sculpt, color, everything. Black with the blue highlights, everything. The only difference is the set of accessories. The accessories that he has, he's called the Bladed Foot Soldier. He has an axe, he has an actual ninja sword, and as you see there, on the bottom here, which I don't know why it moved, even though I never touched it, he has two sides, right here. He comes with, wait, let me zoom it in. He He comes with two sides. He comes with two open hands, right? With those spiked guards on the top of the hands when they fight. And then two closed fists. And then another one of those straps for the back of the bandana on their head. Like one is, laying down, like so. Not in a neutral position. And then the other one, like it's billowing out in the air, like with the air. So again, I'm gonna push my camera back, pull it down a little bit. There we go. To get a better, get the frame, them in the frame much better. These figures are absolutely gorgeous. They're worth every penny. Okay, they're very beautiful. And again, I'm not a fan of the actual look as far as the turtles. These, I think, are more grounded, more realistic, and fit well a lot better. But if I had to make a choice on what I would like to see next, as far as the movie style with NECA stuff, is basically I would like to see his interpretation of the movie versions of the newer movies. Even though the turtles look busy, like I said, they have a much more realistic look that would fit better in our reality, and they look more menacing and badass. They don't look cheesy and kind of puppetry and puppet-like and baby-like. So that is my thought on these. So now we're going to move on into my other set of figures, and hopefully the last set in this review. So, and here we have my latest DC pickups. As you can see, I have two DC Multiverse by McFarlane, and the newest entry, one of the newer entries in the for Deathstroke and his look from DC Essentials, which you see a promotional shot of it on the side. He was number 2 from the beginning of the wave in the line, and these two are now Batman and Batman Superman. Unchained Armored. And I didn't want to review these, even though I reviewed all the others, because I've seen so many people review these, because these are the ones that everybody just keeps on, praising, and also the Batman Who Laughs, and they're the ones that people keep talking about. So I'm like, you know what? There's enough people out there talking about it. I'll give my quick thought and outlook now of what I think about the figures, and and that's it. Because I don't want to. I just don't like when people do that. They try to alienate, certain lines and figures based on characters, and then they want to say only one thing is good, the other things are not. Even though everybody's entitled to their opinion, it's just every figure has something unique and special to offer, and every figure is going to be different. It's going to be executed differently because there's different sculptors. It's going to be different in the paint department, application, depending on how much deco and detail they have. So some can get less love than others because the other ones that are more important or that are more demanding are going to take more of the budget and things of that nature. And we have to understand that, because even though McFarlane is a big toy company, it's still not on the level of a Hasbro or on the level of a Mattel. So he does it based on what his company makes on a yearly basis. And I'm not saying he doesn't make a lot of money. I'm just saying he's just not on that level. So for him to take risks, it's easier, but at the same time, it's going to be expensive for him, because if you've seen so far with all the McFarlane line and the figures, none of them share parts. They're all brand new sculpts for every figure. So, it's not like they're cheaping out. Plus, it's not just paints that are painting out the design of the deco. It's actual sculpts that have paint jobs on them, which is, as far as we know, more expensive, because that's what all these other toy companies like Mattel and like Hasbro have been claiming all these years. So this is the box, and now we can take a look at the figures. And here we have them out of box. And one thing I forgot to mention when I was showing you the box is, even though they're in the same scale of height, which is supposed to be the 7-inch scale, you saw how big and different in thickness the disparity was with the size of the box, as you can see, because these, just look how these figures are next to this figure, the Deathstroke from Essentials. They're a little bit taller. These stand more in like the range of like a 8.5 inch. And as you can see also here, that these figures are just massive in bulkness, you know, and girth compared to Deathstroke. And this is a $24.99 figure. Some places $29.99, and these are only $20 figures, believe it or not. So that's what I'm talking about, how people want to throw shades at one side but not really looking at the bigger picture. And not to say nothing about these figures, taking anything away or talking negatively about any of them. All of these figures are fantastic, but you know, we'll start with the Batman Hellbat with the Hellbat suit. And this figure here is just really something else. It's very different. He looks like kind of a mesh between a mech and a cybernetic suit, but he looks really nice with all the black and the shiny black with the matte finishing on the black areas where it's a matte black. He's very well articulated for a big sized figure of this size. And the matte on on the red from the symbol and the outline inside the suit. As you can see, everything is sculpted on the belt, on the legs and his feet and his boots, shin guards, as you see there. Even in the back, this looks like it has two fire packs so he can fly. That's what it looks like. And over here as well in the back area. Now these feel a little bit cheap because of the plastic they use, but I can see why, because maybe they would be way more expensive if they actually did it with a thicker plastic. But it's cool when they fold up and look like a bat, batarang when they're closed, and they still look like a bat or bat wings when, obviously, as you can see, when they're open, right? They're splayed open like that. So that's also very cool. So I'm gonna close them down real quick. And then, his mask, obviously, looking really nice. And his hands, just gauntlet on his hands. And then if you look even at his knee pads have like a little indentation of ears on the side, and they look like the face sculpt, like the way the face is designed. So even the knee pads has details of like bat-like symbols. So even though I'm not, and then and the boots have plates in the front to look like bats. It's like two plates of metal on top of the boots, and they bolted down right there. If you look at it, it's bolted down right there. So even though I'm not familiar with this storyline and why he wears a suit, I think it's just a really cool looking figure, and that's the reason why people have just been, oh my god, drooling all over them. And I understand why, but I think that the whole line as a whole so far has delivered in a lot of ways, especially with the price point that they're offering. So I mean, are they perfect? Maybe these figures are close to perfect and others are not, but they're pretty damn close to perfect, especially for the scale, size, detail, and accessories that they bring. Even though they could bring maybe extra heads for some, and maybe they could bring also extra different sets of hands. But for $20, I don't think we really can do a lot of complaining, because $20, when you look at it with inflation, compared to when we were growing up in the 80s and 90s, early 90s, it was the same equivalent of a $10 figure or $8 figure back then. So, and back then the figures looked nowhere near as good as this, with the exception of maybe Toy Biz's Marvel Legends at that time. And you see how those have aged, which in some cases not very well. So anyway, we'll move right along, and here is Deathstroke. And I have to say I'm very pleasantly surprised with this Deathstroke. I have the classic one and the icon ones as well. This matte gray is phenomenal. The orange on his gloves, his wristband, on his waist for his strap, his gun harness, on the strap on his feet, the strap for his little blade, even though you can't remove it, but it still looks cool. You know, on his other hand, the white contrast, the orange with the netting of it looks like a fish net on the shoulder pad with the orange, the contrast of his eyes and the face scope. I mean, that face scope alone with that detail and, you know, those detail markings of the chin and the nose and the other side of the face, they did a phenomenal job. And then the strap here in orange for the blade and the sword, for the sheath of the sword in the back, which my only complaint is that the sword looks kind of small. It should have been a little bit longer, but, you know, painted in gold. This is one of the better essentials. And then look at even his boots with the outline in orange with the gray tracks in the bottom. And he doesn't have no peg holes. This is one of the better essentials. It seems like the villains are getting the better treatment in the essentials line to this point than the actual, you know, good guys, with the exception now maybe with the new Batman in gray and blue and the Green Lantern. He's on top there, right there with, alongside I think with Red Hood. And it's nice because, you know, his gun has somewhere to place it, just like they did with Mantis, and then obviously the sheath with the sword. So this is a home run, one of the best DC Essentials figures in that DC Essential line. And he just happens to be a villain, but nonetheless, regardless, looks very cool, very badassery if you ask me. And I'm glad to finally own him. Got him for a great price, and I'm glad that I got him. I really am. And I think he goes well too. He fits well with the essentials of, the DC multiverse from McFarlane. So then we'll get into the last figure, which is definitely not least, but oh my Jesus, this figure right here, holy crap. This figure is what I consider an epitome of a masterpiece, or the epitome of a masterpiece. The design of this figure, the look, the metallic paint jobs, the look that he has, that he almost looks like a Superman in a Voltron suit, if I had to. Not really a Robotech like everybody tries to say, or a Gundam, but like a Voltron suit, especially with these Voltron style wings that are supposed to be his, you know, an equivalent of his cape, but in obviously metal wing form that you could flip down. Also like this, like so, with the ball peg to make it look like it's, you know, draping down on the behind him. And then the face, this face right here. Oh my Jesus! Just the sculpt work and the face alone. I don't even know how to. I don't know how to even start to explain. The yellow eyes, the metallic silvers, the metallic blues, all glistening with little spots. Then the flat reds and the highlights there. In the head, you see there. In the back of the head, as you see there. Then the inside lining of the suit, where you see right here on the neck area and on the shoulder area, the way they incorporated the articulation right there where it doesn't hinder in the ball joint area of the shoulder. The ball joint moves very, very well. A very well articulated movement. It's a single hinge, but it moves up very well, more than 90, to make it look like it almost feels like a double ball hinge, elbow. There's this area here has some spikes going down, so it kind of feels like it pokes you when you move it, but it still has, a crunch. You can crunch them forward, even though they have a very robotic tech-like suit. This for me would be like Superman having a suit that he built to fight like a villain the size of a planet, maybe. As you know, we all know Superman's retarded powerful. The symbol with the black and the red, cherry red, and the shoulders are supposed to be like the cape draping down. That cherry red, it reminds you a lot of that other Batman from that other universe. I forgot what it was, what it's called. Then obviously here, the crotch area with the belt, the guard here by the thighs, blue, and then these boots look phenomenal, really nice. The blacks in the back, the knee pads, which it is a double knee pad. This figure for me right now, honestly, and even look real quick, the boots look incredible, even though this is hindering it. But this is pliable, so you can get movement from it. You just gotta kind of push it a little bit. And it even has toe rockers, if you look at it. And then the toe pivot as well. This figure right here, for me, so far, alongside Scareglow from Mondo, are contender so far for figures of the year. And I know it's early because there's a lot of figures that are going to come out from here to the end of the year. But these are two, for me, these are two top contenders for figures of the year between Scareglow and this Superman Unchained. And I understand why people are really, really digging them and are really happy with them and really feel strongly about them. Because for me, it's not a preference about, if I like Batman better than Superman. For me, I've always been a Superman fan, better than Batman. But again, it's because I know everybody loves Batman. So I don't like liking the same thing that everybody else likes to like or tends to like. And that's okay if you do, that's your choice. But me, I like to like things that are just out of the norm and that are different. I think it's more exciting. And I'm not saying that this Batman Hellbat is a piece of garbage, because it's not. You clearly see it's an amazing figure. The girth, the quality, the details, the look, it gets a thumbs up. So these figures here are phenomenal, fantastic. Couldn't recommend them more to any of you guys. I highly recommend for you to go out and get them the way that I did. And big shout outs to my boy that I met, my newly acquired and found friend Frank, because he actually gave me these at retail price because he found them for me and did me the solid and sold them to me. And he didn't have to. And I'm very grateful for him to do that. So Frank, 2 thumbs up to you, buddy. You're a very nice, wonderful person, and you seem like and act like to be a very big class act. I really mean that. So guys, there is my haul of my latest figures that I told you. I didn't want to just, review all of them because there's so many, and these are properties and figures that usually get a lot of attention, especially the Star Wars stuff, and so I figured, let me just put them in one vid, have a little bit of everything, as you see here, and hopefully you guys will, enjoy it instead of me having to feel the urgency of reviewing every single one, because it's a lot more work and a lot harder. And plus, there's a lot of people already out there doing that. So I hope you like the unboxing haul and overlook and my thoughts on them. Let me know what you guys think down below, in the description below, in the comments rather. And as always, leave a like if you like with a thumbs up, or leave a like or dislike with a thumbs down. It's your choice. It's fine either way. And as always, share this video with someone you think might like it. And also, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. If you like what I do, for you guys, the viewers that are new, feel free to subscribe. And if you do, I'm very grateful, because I know you don't have to. But if you did, just remember, I consider you now part of my family. And, you are helping me go a long way to grow my channel, and that's all that matters to me more than anything. That's why I have to be grateful. And if you guys ever want to help me in any way, shape, or form with my channel to grow with content or better equipment, better editing, whatever, even camera, it's all in the description down below. I have a Patreon, I have a PayPal. You guys can look me up there and see if you want to help me out. My Patreon starts, I think, at $2 or $3. I'm not really sure. My daughter set it up for me, and you know, it's not if you have to, it's if you want to, from the kindness of your heart, obviously. And as always, you can try to find me also and follow me on Instagram. It's CRebot, and on Twitter. And I'm gonna open a Facebook page that's not with my personal name, but under the Ebot moniker with Toys in My Closet, so that you guys can, you know, are welcome to join if you choose to, or welcome to follow me there. All right, guys. See you on the next one. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for all the love. Good luck collecting. Big weekend for us fig collectors with Toy Fair. Very exciting stuff. Very exciting. Many exciting announcements. Excuse me. And looking forward to what looks to be a phenomenal year in figure, you know, acquisitions this year. Good luck to all of you guys, and be safe and much love. Bye bye.